Hey y'all, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to our small town life. Thank you for stopping by and watching today's video. I have my comfy cozy sweatshirt on, a big crock pot full of pinto beans ready. We're doing the comfy cozy things around here today. You're going to get to see how I make my pinto beans in the crock pot in today's video. I actually have 5 ingredient or less crock pot meals for you that are budget friendly, affordable, kid friendly, family favorites, and I'm going to share those with you today. Now, I'm going to go ahead and address this, and I don't have to, but you're going to hear my voice change a little bit throughout the video. We've had a sickness going on around here. We've been doing the elderberry syrup and the garlic honey and the goldenrod tea and all the things, and we are on the mend. But my voice sounds a little different here and there throughout the video because I did film this over several days. That is why, but we are on the mend. So like I said, we're doing the comfy cozy thing. I'm going to get me a big old bowl of pinto beans and enjoy those while you watch this video, and then I'll catch back up with you at the end. Let's get into these recipes. I'm going to share the things I love, things I would change, because that's what we do around here. We keep it real, we keep it honest. I'm going to tell you what I really like about these, because some of these are things that we are trying for the first time, and then some of them are things that are like tried and trues for us. So I'm going to let you know what we like, things I might change, and that way, you know, you kind of have a heads up on that as you maybe recreate some of these meals for your family. All right, y'all hang out with me. Watch what I got for you. I'm going to eat me some pinto beans, and then I'll catch back up with you. The first recipe that we're putting in the crock pot is crock pot cheese tortellini. Here's my ingredients. There's 5 of them. I'm not counting salt and pepper, but I am going to count my other seasonings. So I have 1 jar of pasta sauce, a family-size bag of 5 cheese tortellini, some mozzarella cheese, oregano, and garlic powder. I'm using my handy-dandy sprayer here, and I'm just going to spray some oil in the bottom of the crock pot. Ignore the fact that it's seen better days. Into my old crock pot, I'm pouring this jar of sauce. I put just a little bit of water in here so I can make sure I get all of the sauce. Then I'm going to lay my cheese tortellini all over the top of my pasta sauce. Could I have just dumped those in? Yeah, probably, but I was trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Now I'm just going to sprinkle some mozzarella cheese all over the top. I'm not measuring it, but I'm going to guess probably 1.5 cups. Just covered up all that I worked to make look so pretty. Maybe it'll look nice for a thumbnail though, right? Then I'm going to sprinkle some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and oregano over the top. You could use Italian seasoning too. Whatever you have, whatever your family likes. Then you cook this on low for 3 hours or high for 1.5 hours. I think we're going to do low today. Y'all, let me just tell you, this was a hit with everyone in the family. Everybody went back for seconds. It was so good. To be so simple, it was delicious. So we've got our cheese tortellini, some broccoli, and some sourdough bread. I've already tried a bite of it, and it is so good. To just be a few ingredients, that has so much flavor. I'm excited about dinner. It's time for our second 5 ingredient or less crock pot meal. And this is creamy tomato basil chicken. You can do it a couple ways. You can leave your chicken whole and serve it that way. This afternoon, I'm going to shred mine up and serve it over rice. And that's a good way to stretch meat for a large family. So I have 3 chicken breasts. I have 1 jar of the ragu roasted garlic parmesan sauce. and 1 jar of a tomato, basil, garlic pasta sauce. Then I have some extra garlic powder and some paprika. So what I have in my crock pot here is the 1 jar, or each of the jars of sauce, the 1 jar of the tomato basil and the 1 of the roasted garlic parmesan. And I used just enough water to rinse the jars out, make sure I got everything out of them, maybe like a 1/4 cup in each jar. And then I put in 1/2 a teaspoon of garlic powder and probably about 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of paprika. I just sprinkled it in. We cook with our heart around here. And now I'm whisking it all together. You could do this in a separate bowl, place your chicken in the crock pot, and then pour this over. But I wasn't about to dirty an extra bowl, so I'm just mixing it right in the crock pot. Now I'm going to take my chicken breasts and just lay them down in here. And I'm going to put this on low for probably about 8 hours. We're going to be eating dinner pretty late tonight after some ball games, so I'm going to let this go on low. You could put it on high for about 4 hours. You just want to make sure your chicken gets to 165 degrees internally. When we got home later that night after basketball games, I just shredded the chicken up. There was a perfect amount of sauce in there. I ended up serving this over egg noodles with a side salad, and it was delicious. It was a nice filling meal. You could do this over rice, mashed potatoes, any kind of noodle. It was a hit. I had a little bit of a change of plan for dinner tonight. Originally, I was going to do bacon chicken Alfredo and use penne pasta, but I forgot to get the penne pasta. And then I said, well, I got spaghetti, so we'll do chicken spaghetti. And then I saw that I had this onion soup mix, and my whole plan changed. So I've got my chicken, and that says turnip greens. When we were putting turnip greens in the freezer, we had already labeled an extra bag that we didn't need, so I used it with my chicken. That's 3 chicken breasts. Then I'm going to put this roasted garlic parmesan Alfredo sauce over that in the crock pot. Sprinkle this onion soup mix over the top, and I'm going to let that cook all day on low. And then tonight I'm going to boil my spaghetti noodles and add those in towards the end. So let me tell you, the flavor of this was very good, but once we shredded the chicken, there just really wasn't a whole lot of sauce left. So I think if I did this again, I would leave, and I will do it again, I will leave the chicken breast whole and then serve the whole chicken breast over noodles with the sauce. I had some requests to show how I do pinto beans in the crock pot, so that's going to be our last 5 ingredient or less dinner. So I have a 1 pound bag of pinto beans. Y'all, this is also a very, very budget friendly and affordable meal. I have a 1 pound bag of pinto beans. I have some bacon grease. Sometimes if I have bacon on hand, I'll just cut up a piece or 2 of bacon. But that's one of the reasons why I love keeping bacon grease. I use it in things like this. Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and this is some onion that I already had chopped and frozen, but you could chop up half an onion. So I looked my beans and rinsed them with some cold water. You want to look through them to make sure there's not, sometimes little pebbles or things can make their way in. So you just want to look through them, rinse them in cold water. Some of my favorite memories are sitting at the table with my mom looking pinto beans. I don't do any kind of pre-soak on my beans, even when I'm just cooking them on the stovetop. I don't do any pre-soak. It's just not how I was taught to do it. Now I'm going to put my frozen chopped up onion probably a teaspoon or so of garlic powder. You can, goodness, y'all. I've been a little sick. It's catching up with me. I've been doing my elderberry syrup and my garlic honey, and it has helped a ton, but sometimes my voice wants to go. Then I'm going to put some Italian seasoning, probably about a teaspoon. I'll also, usually if I have bay leaves, that's what I'll use instead. I'll put 2 bay leaves in. And put in a little bacon grease. You could cut up a piece or 2 of bacon and put that in. Then I'm going to salt and pepper it. You can season beans pretty good. They need a good bit of seasoning. I even taste them as they're cooking and sometimes add more. Now this is technically a 6th ingredient and you do not have to put this in. But I have some frozen hot peppers from our garden. And I'm going to put in 2 of those hot peppers. Now these dried beans are going to need a pretty good bit of water. And this isn't something that I usually put on and then just go off and leave, because I'll need to add more water to this. If you need to go off and leave this, I would put probably that much more water in here. Maybe halfway up the crock pot, because they do absorb a lot of water. What I like to do is do these beans in the crock pot when I can at least be here with them for the first couple of hours. It takes dried beans a while to cook. I like to put these on high for 2 hours and then turn them on low for another 6 to 8 hours. These need to cook all day. So, you know, you can adjust that based on how much time you have. Maybe you need to cook them on high a little bit longer. But I like to at least give them the first couple of hours on high and then turn it down to low and go the rest of the day. Fletcher's talking to you. And I will have to add water to them throughout. Again, if you've got to go off and leave them, just make sure you have plenty of water in here with them. These have been cooking for about 2 hours now. And you can see they've soaked up a good bit of the water. I'm going to add a little more water. Go ahead and turn this down on low and it'll cook the rest of the day. I'll keep an eye on the water level too in case I need to add some more. This is what those pinto beans looked like after they had cooked all day. I had already turned these down to warm and I just needed to make some homemade cornbread to go along with these. I also made homemade mayonnaise. Y'all, why have I not been doing this? This was my first time to make homemade mayonnaise and it was so easy and so delicious. We like to serve our pinto beans with cornbread and some mayonnaise. I'm so glad I put those peppers in there. They added a lot of really great flavor. It wasn't too spicy, just a little something extra. If you don't have peppers like I did, you could put in some red pepper flakes. There you have it, y'all. 4 5-ingredient or less crock pot meals. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got inspiration from it. Enjoyed seeing kind of how I played around with some of these recipes. I think that they're really good additions for the fall and the winter and just wanting those warm, cozy meals. And it doesn't hurt that they are budget friendly and can feed a large family like we have. That's going to be all for today. I will catch you in the next video. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.